As technology progresses, new forms of communication are created that allow people to spread information faster and further than ever before. While most people accept the changes that new technology brings, others refuse to do so. Often termed Luddites, these people are of the mind that technology brings more negative consequences than it does beneficial ones. While it is difficult to make a solid case for either side, I would like to explore some of the more negative impacts that new technology brings, specifically in adolescence. The access to the internet and other forms of new media during adolescence has been linked to an increase in psychiatric symptoms and moral ambiguity. Adolescents use the internet and other forms of new media for many different reasons. Schools encourage the usage of internet for research, but adolescents also use the internet for purchasing merchandise, playing video games, watching their favorite TV shows, among other things. Consistent overuse of the internet has been termed Internet Addiction Disorder, IAD, or Problematic Internet Use, PIU. Specifically, addictive internet use can be defined as an impulse control disorder that does not involve an intoxicant. While the connections made in this paper are specifically in regards to people suffering from PIU, further research may prove the same effects to be true for internet users in general. A study published in the Journal of Adolescent Health explored the relationship that internet addiction has with depression, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, hostility, and social phobia, with interesting results. In regards to depression, the study found that adolescents with internet addiction had higher depressive levels. The study did not prove conclusively that internet addiction caused depression, however. It was suggested by researchers that depression may lead to internet addiction. The ability of an adolescent to modify their emotional state or to escape from real-world problems by utilizing the internet was described as self-medication. As the researchers stated, internet use is perceived as less harmful and more available than illegal substances. While the perception that illegal substances are difficult to acquire may be prevalent in adolescence, the truth could not be more wrong. The apparent availability of controlled stimulants over the internet is alarming for many reasons. First, the ease and anonymity of making purchases over the internet could make it easier for adolescents and young adults to obtain these medications than similar drugs that are seen as comparably unsafe. Not only is this illegal, but ordering from a website is no safer than buying from someone on the street. It is far too easy for pill substitution to occur with potentially disastrous consequences. The study's findings on how internet addiction and ADHD are connected were just as interesting. Again, rather than proving that internet addiction caused or exacerbated ADHD symptoms, it found that the negative aspects of the disorder were seemingly amplified. Due to the preference patients with ADHD have for immediate rewards rather than delayed rewards, it was suggested that the internet activity, like gaming, which provides intermediate responses and rewards, may satisfy adolescents with ADHD more so than other adolescents. Additionally, it was stated that as individuals with ADHD tend to have less self-control than others, the endless activities and rewards available through internet use may have even caused the internet addiction. The last two portions of the study regarding hostility and social phobia relating to internet addiction were less clear. While the study showed evidence that internet addiction caused increased hostility and social phobia, the findings were made less significant by the consideration of whether other psychiatric symptoms were controlled. As both hostility and social phobia are symptoms of depression and/or ADHD, it cannot be determined whether the symptoms were caused by those, internet addiction, or a combination of the two. The effects an internet addiction has on an adolescent's moral compass are equally important. Where once you had to hide a CD under your jacket, adolescents can now pirate videos, games, and music, all with a click of a button. As technology advances, the amount of time needed to download, copy, and upload files has diminished significantly, allowing pirates to distribute illegal materials at a faster rate with less of a chance of being caught. Due to the fact that the pirating of materials can be done far away from the eyes of the copyright holder, many adolescents may see it as a harmless activity with no real-world consequences. However, while criminal charges are rarely used in piracy cases, civil lawsuits have been filed against children as young as 12. Adolescents may believe themselves to be safe, but the reality is much different than they think. The hardest part in analyzing how the internet and new media affect adolescents is explained quite well in Gunter, Higgins, and Gilt's study on adolescent piracy. Few would argue that adolescence is not a difficult and important time of life for most individuals. This is a time of exploration and experimentation. Thus, during this period of life, many will perform behaviors that may be criminal. Therefore, it would be hard to pinpoint exactly whether it is the internet usage causing the poor behavior or if the poor behavior is simply facilitated by using the internet. There is clear, although inconclusive, evidence that access to the internet and other forms of new media may have negative impacts on adolescents, specifically in regards to psychiatric symptoms and moral ambiguity. While this paper focused on mostly negative aspects of the internet and new media, it could easily have focused on positive aspects, as it is difficult to prove either case. Those who reject technological advances may avoid all the risks technology may bring, but they also fail to reap the benefits.